The one and only Mark Coleman is here, the leader of Team Hammerhouse, the godfather.
What's up, guys? These guys who made the gloves?
These are the guys who made the gloves.
Oh,
yes.
man,
give them all the credit
awesome.
in the world.
Good job.
GC in particular over there with no, they're just on the show. Wow, this is so great to see you. Thank you so much for doing this, Mark.
Fuck yeah,
it's
brother.
Great to see you, my man.
It's great. You ain't kidding. It's great. Life is good.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for doing this. I know you're very much in demand. Could I just ask? There's so much to ask you about, obviously, but I feel like you are the type of person that really, and obviously the events of the past month would affect this, but you love being here, right? Big fight, Vegas, taking this all in, being here, feeling the energy. I feel like I saw you this morning. You're out there shadow boxing, barefoot outside the hotel.
Hell yeah!
You adore this, right?
Hey, this is life. I've been asking Dana White for tickets for this for a year.
Wow.
And he came through. The UFC brought me in, brought my daughters in. They got some special plans, which I found out yesterday. I'm doing the belt thing, the BMF belt. Wow, man. I never felt better in my life. I just feel energy right now. I've had energy for a year. Since I got sober, I've had energy. But it just, every day I get more and more, and it's a blessing to be here. I'm grateful.
I love it. So how did you find out that you would be wrapping the BMF title around the waist of the winner of the Justin Gaethje-Max Holloway fight, which I think is just incredible. What an honor that is for you. How did you find out?
Yeah. Thank you, Max Holloway. I think he got this started just by asking about it, and then the fan response kind of was amazing, and I think the UFC just went with it. And I found out yesterday, like everybody else, social media, bro.
Just like that?
Yeah. I seen when nothing gets done until Dana says it. And I heard him say yesterday, and wow, because just being here is a blessing, but it's icing on the cake.
Sure.
And it's gonna be special.
You went from asking for tickets to you're going to be in the octagon wrapping the belt around the winner of maybe the people's main event, as we're calling it, the most anticipated fight on this card in many people's eyes.
There you go, my two.
Yeah,
me too. Two entertainers. Something that in my career I wasn't an entertainer. I was out to win. And if I could do it differently, I'd be an entertainer this time around. And Justin Gaethje's just that. He could wrestle people, when instead he wants to knock them out. And Max Holloway stepping up to the plate like this, it's a big challenge. But that's what bad motherfuckers do. And it's the perfect matchup. And it brings a lot of credibility and weight to this belt.
Yes.
So I think this belt's here to stay. I think it should be. Why not? It gives people something to look forward to. And like you said, it is the people's fight, but there's a lot of other fights on that card. And the main event, that's the one I'm excited about.
Okay, so I'd love to talk to you about the past month, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Today is April 12th. I believe March 12th is when this happened, right? Tuesday, March 12th? Or maybe the night?
I don't keep track, but it's been a month now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It went fast.
Could you tell me what happened? You're sleeping at your parents' house in...
Well, you just want me to tell you what happened?
I would love it, if you don't mind.
Well, I mean, I'll take you through. It's going to take a second.
No, we got all the time in the world.
Yeah, just I go home to see my parents quite often, but I hadn't been there in like a month and a half because my car I blew my engine in my car. Probably should have put some oil in it. So I got my car back, and the first thing I did, I'm gonna hop in my car and just take my dog Hammer with me, and when I got sober, that's the first thing I did is head back to the parents' house, because they've been there for me my whole life. They never missed a wrestling match. We were poor. I'd be in Bulgaria wrestling in the world championships, and I'd look up and there's my mom. That's where I got my voice from. She's got the voice from God. Mark, and I look up and I couldn't believe my parents were there. How'd they get there? And they just, It just supported me forever. And when I got sober, you know, I was always, when I did drink, I was living in fear and afraid of a lot of things. But I got sober, and I would go back to visit them, and it'd be just so peaceful, just sitting with my mom and dad, and realizing how blessed I am to have them too, and the small things that matter. But so I got my car back. I drive back to see him. I took some ribs with me that I bought, and my mom cooked those up, and you know, we went to bed, and about 10 o'clock I went to bed. I don't sleep too well. I sleep good, but I wake up every hour. I have either a nightmare or I got to take a piss every hour. So I waking up at about. I went into my bedroom that's where I grew up at, my old bedroom, and I used to leave the door open and have a nightlight on in there. But I shut the door and had a complete black in there because my dog, I had to keep him in there. And well, I woke up at 3 a.m. Well, I woke up before that, but I woke up at 3 a.m. I walked out into the kitchen and get me a snack because I'm at my mom's house. We got some snacks there, but something felt wrong at 3 a.m. You know, something didn't feel right. I only grabbed a couple cookies where I would have ate the whole bag if it wasn't right. But I went back to bed, and then about an hour later, you know, a big thud woke me up. Which I realized now it was my dog Hammer jumping underneath the bed. The thud woke me up, and you know, I had a solid hour of sleep. I was in the middle of a damn good nightmare. And I woke up and I'm hot. I'm real hot. And I have night sweats like this sometimes. So I didn't put it together, but it was really hot in my bedroom. And I thought it was just from a night sweat, but something felt creepy. I felt the devil. I felt something really wrong. And I walked to my door. Like I said, it was black. I opened the door up. I'm in the hallway now. And it's really black and really just, you know, I'm seeing things, you know. I don't know what I'm seeing. And the moonlight was coming in. That's the only light I had. But I walked out towards the kitchen because I'm going to see if somebody's out there trying to get me. You know, I thought somebody's in the house, and I turned the corner. And now I see out in the kitchen, you know, clouds of, I didn't put it together that it was smoke and fire. I really was feeling like it was the devil in my house. And so I walked a few more steps, and then I grabbed the doorknob. I'm going to open the back door there. And I grabbed that freaking doorknob, and I burnt the hell out of my hand. It was on fire already.
Wow.
And that's when reality started setting in. But then I heard the worst noise ever. I heard glass windows falling and breaking from up above. And that's when I put it together that this ain't clouds, this is smoke. And this fire is everywhere. I mean, it's inside the house, inside the walls, and I knew I had to run. And I immediately ran back, and now I see the smoking everywhere, pretty much. But I run back, and I yelled at my mom and dad, "Mom, Dad, Mom, Dad, Mom, Dad!" Fucking 5 times. And they didn't answer. I thought they were dead. And finally my mom answered. She said, "What?" The reason she didn't answer me is because I do them crazy videos at 5 a.m. She thought I was up doing a Hammer House for Life video. And I said, "We got to go now. The house is on fire. Let's go." They jumped up there in their underwear. And they come around to the front of the bed where I'm at the doorway. And I grabbed my dad, and he had my mom, and I'm walking them down the hallway. I walk, and then I got to go get Hammer, so I already know this. I get all the way out to the garage, and I turn around. And my fucking mom wasn't there. I got my dad out the house. I said, "I'll get her." I ran back, and I seen her down there in the hallway, still in the bedroom. The smoke was really bad now, but I could see her visuals. "What are you doing?" And she said, "I can't breathe." She got asthma real bad. And she had her shit up like this, and I wasn't smart enough to cover my mouth. And I talked to some firemen ever since, and they said, "Were you crawling?" I wasn't smart enough to crawl or anything, but I ran back and I grabbed her, and now it's pretty much a blind walk at this point. And I'm using my shoulder to hold me up on the wall. And I got to a point where I fell into a bathroom door that was open. So I got me and my mom standing in there, and that's when I looked up, and And for a second, you know, I thought for sure it's over. I'm not going to make it because I was lost. And then by the grace of God, I got back on the right path. And I was able to get my mom out the back door. And I ran back in to get my dog Hammer. And this is really pushing it, but I got down on my knees because I was swiping underneath the bed. And when I got down on my knees, the smoke had cleared up, so I had a false sense of security that I'm going to be all right. And I swiped, and then I jumped to the end, and I swiped again, and I couldn't find him. And then I sat up on my knees, I leaned up, and that's when the smoke was there. And I realized I'm in big, big trouble. I stood up, and I almost fell down. I fell into the bed. And I turned around, and now I'm thinking the doorway's this way. I'm just thinking something guided me. Of course, God guided me, and I was able to get out to the garage door and reunite with my dad, who I took out the front door. I grabbed him. I took him around to get my mom, who was out back, and we turned around. And by this time, it was gone, man. And, I mean, there was no putting that fire out ever. And we just, and then I'm coughing real hard, but I'm thinking I'm fine. You know what I mean? I'm thinking I'm going to be fine. The ambulance got there. They put me in the ambulance. And I remember laying down, telling them, I'm not going to the hospital. I'm fine. I just want to see my mom and dad, but I wasn't fine. I woke up a couple days later, with tubes and shit down my throat, and then. I remember being out, and my daughter's holding my daughter's hands, and them talking to me, and they put Fear's a Coward song on. It's one of my favorite songs, Christian song, but Fear's a Liar. I remember trying to hold back the tears because they wanted to see me cry. And I remember the tear coming out because they asked me if I remember this part. And I do remember that. And they finally was able to take me off whatever machines they were on. And I opened the eyes, and just nothing but happiness and joy that my mom and dad were still alive. It was by far the highest of highs of my life. And I've had some highs. But at the same time, the lowest of lows. And my dog Hammer, he's not with us anymore, but he's a hero. And as my first dog ever, I had him for 11 months. And he was with me every day. I'm on a journey of, being the best version of myself. And I'm exercising crazy, crazy hours because I love it. And he was with me every day. And, that's it, Ariel. That's it.
Thank you for sharing that. Can I ask, do you want some water? Would you like some water?
Sure.
If we could just get Mark some water over there, please, that would be great. Just throw it to me. Thank you. There you go. I can't imagine. Thank you for. Is it all like vivid in your mind? Everything you didn't have.
Vivid.
No one needed to tell you.
Everything I just told you. I remember in details. It was. I'll never forget. It was as real as it gets, and I was very afraid, but I dealt with it.
Are your parents okay?
Parents are doing great.
Did they need to be hospitalized?
No, I don't know how, because my mom has asthma real bad. I just don't know how she didn't have to go get that checked out, but they were fine. So.
What happened to the house? Is it completely
gone? Yeah,
gone to a crisp.
Total
Wow.
crisp. I had all my memorabilia and personal stuff down in that basement for the last 30 years. It's just stuff, but some pretty cool stuff, Ariel, man.
Yeah.
Just, but they was able to save some of it.
Oh, really?
Some of the fire took its own course, man, and all of a sudden it didn't hit this somehow. And they showed me my Olympic opening ceremonies outfit. It got a little hat, a blue coat, undershirt, and the pants, and the shoes, and when I seen that was, you know, it just really neat. But that's just stuff.
Right.
I got my mom and dad here still. That's all that matters. And myself, grateful because it can end. I always say tomorrow's not promised, but it has a new meaning now. It sure does.
Where are your parents living now?
My sister took them in.
Okay.
For now, I don't know what the future plans are, but they're staying with my sisters. They're doing fine. Just you know, everybody's just happy to be alive. Everything else will work out.
What did
they lost a lot of stuff in that fire as well, but it's just stuff, man.
What were you battling medically? Like what, you know, the photos were obviously hard to see, and I can't imagine. But what was going on internally?
My eyes got hit pretty bad. I couldn't open my eyes for about a week.
Wow.
No, I mean I could open them, but it was brutal. And they're getting better every day. They were burnt pretty good, and then my nose was burnt, my ears were burnt, and then my lungs. You know, they said they never seen, you know, that much, you know, black tar on somebody's lungs. When they got down in there, the nurses told my daughter, who's a nurse, they thought everything's going to be okay by the way I was talking, but it was probably me just talking. And then my daughters knew when they got down there it was going to be worse than they thought. And they got down there, and that's when they couldn't tell my daughter, they couldn't tell her if I was going to make it or not because they had no clue. And they were able to, they go down in there and they can wash the lungs off. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But for some reason they were able to spray just tons and tons of black shit off my lungs. Otherwise, and get it out of there. They showed me the jug later. It was sick, but if that don't happen, I might die right there, or I still probably be in the hospital recovering from just destroyed lungs. I don't know, but it was able to wash it off, and you know I remember waking up and asking when can I get the hell out of here, bro? You know, but I wanted to get out of that hospital. I talked my way out in 5 days.
I was just gonna ask. So you were there for 5 days?
Talked my way out in 5 days, but on the way home from the hospital, they didn't want to let me out, but they, you know, whatever. I guess I bullied my way out of there, and on the way home with my daughters, I felt some numbness in my arm. It had been there since the fire. Didn't know what it was, but as I'm driving home, you know, I'm starting to, you know, I was living a little bit scared after this fire because I survived the fire, and now I'm thinking this car's going to swerve over in front of me and smash us now. That's the kind of thoughts I was having, but and my arm was numb, and I did have a heart attack 5 years ago, so I just mentioned it to my daughters, and they took me right to the hospital in case it might have been a heart attack or something. And they checked me in. The heart's fine. Everything's fine. Don't know what the numbness is from, but they found out I did have ammonia. So,
wow.
So I had ammonia now. They checked me back in, but I talked my way out the next morning. And I've been on antibiotics, it seems like forever, because I've had 4 hip operations in the last 5 months. I've been on antibiotics for 5 months. I can't wait to get off these, but I'm pulling it back together here. I'm getting real close to being fucking a whole strong man again.
Well, you know, we've been following on social media your evolution from a physical standpoint. I'm just wondering, you appear to be, and you seem to be, and you're obviously a former, you know, champion and Olympian, great shape. Do you think that saved you? Do you think your transformation?
If this happens a year ago, if this fire happens a year ago, I had a tough time walking to my car, you know, without getting tired.
Yeah.
My whole body was shut down. I didn't work out one time for 12 years. After my last fight, I just walked away from everything and started drinking more, you know, and I was physically in the worst shape of my entire life 14 months ago. And I made a pact with Liver King, who's a good friend of mine. He told me to transform back into the fucking hammer, and I promote the carnivore diet and the 9 ancestral tenets, and I live by them, and I believe in them, and I love the carnivore diet. And when he told me this on January 1st, he sent me a text saying, let's go. You know, we're partners. I didn't ask what or this and that. I just, boom, I walked out the door and I started walking, and I never stopped, man. I started walking, and I turned walking into any kind of exercise you can think about. Literally, I was obsessed. It became my new addiction. And I'm sore as hell sitting there because it's because I'm out in Vegas. I've been exercising the whole time. I like to earn my meal. I fasted for 12 months straight. When I made this pact with Liver King, I started the training, and I had a 22-hour fast every day, and I would eat for 2 hours. So I just went right. 12 years of nothing, and people trying to get me to train again, but it just disgusted me to even think about it for some reason. But
Why do you think that is?
I have no idea. It's all I did my whole life.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought, I thought if I started training again, I knew I was going to want to compete. And this is exactly what happened. And I will compete again. And everybody kept asking me, because I did 19-hour days a few times. I averaged 12 hours a day. Low impact mostly. Most of the stuff, what can you do for 19 hours? Well, trust me, you can do it. I don't sit down. I'm on my feet, walking at least, minimum walking, or I'm flexing, or I'm doing this, shadow boxing, yoga. I fell in love with yoga poses. I do them nonstop throughout the day. And I'm in a routine. And I just kept doing more and more. And then I took my shirt off weighing 280 pounds. Nobody had seen my body for 12 years. And I took it off, showed some humbleness and some whatever you call it. Here you go, everybody. Check it out. Did a little shadow boxing. Got laughed at for a long time. I just told people, keep watching. I'm training for something big, real big. I'm training for life. And I knew something big was going to happen. I said celebrity boxing, which I was going to do, but that's not big to me. That's just a little celebrity boxing match. And then Liver King's Barbarian, which I really want to do. You pull a sled with a weighted sled. You got 70-pound kettlebells in your hand. You got a weighted vest on, and you're pulling this sled for a mile. That's what one of the things I'm really training for, because I want to beat his ass in the time, which is going to be very hard to do. But what am I training for? Something big's coming. Something big in my life's happening, and if it wasn't for that training, I'd probably get myself out. But if I go back in to get my parents, they would have had to pick me up and carry me out, because that's how bad a shape I was in. So to be able to go back and forth 3 times without the training I did, no way, not possible. I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I did it, because I took in a lot of smoke, and the grace of God, obviously. But no, my physical stature was the only reason this happened. And I just wish I had a little bit more.
Were you in a coma
My dog.
at the beginning?
Not a coma.
Okay. So
A lot of stories came out. I wasn't in a coma. I don't know what the medical terms were, but I couldn't breathe on my own at some point. For sure, they had to, whatever that's, I don't know the medical terms, but no, I wasn't in a coma.
And like right here, right now, are you dealing with any after effects? Do you feel like it's hard to breathe at times?
My lungs are, my throat is still sore.
Okay.
I kind of like it. It's a good reminder. Every day gets a little better, but I love going through difficult times, man, because if you didn't have difficult, challenging times, then the good times would not feel as great. So it's just a memory of one of the, like I said, the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. That will hopefully that'll always stay that way in my life. I don't want to go any higher or any lower. But
Are they saying that will go away?
What?
That soreness, or is that something?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it gets better every day. The lungs, fortunately, lungs are something that can heal themselves, and they're going to be 100% real soon. Just a matter of time. If they weren't able to blast that black shit off, who knows? It'd be years. But they blasted it off. That saved my recovery time quite a bit. The eyes are still sensitive to light, but hey man, I was really prepared for this, because when I drive in my car for the last 12 months, one of my rituals is I turn the heat on high in there, and for 15 minutes I'm on high, and then for 3 minutes I'm on cold. I go back and forth from hot to cold wherever I'm driving to. If it's a 2-hour drive, we're going to be doing it for 2 hours. Plus I exercise in there. I have all kinds of little things that I do in the car. I did a 9-hour drive to New York for a UFC, and for 9 hours I worked from my toes all the way up to my fucking nose, man.
What? What are you doing?
Hey, man, just right now, just push your toes to the floor real hard and squeeze your feet real hard. That's a workout. I'm flexing my stomach right now, so all the way there, I'm pretty much basically flexible. I tried to do it the whole time. You know, you let up a little bit, you forget about it. Posture. When you're sitting up with hardcore posture, that's a workout, you know. And those three things right there. But then I squeezed the tire, working on my grip, and then stretching in there. Where I worked my shoulders. My shoulders were destroyed from that 10 years of offness. I couldn't do nothing, but I stretched them every day for a year hard. And in my car, I lean back on the top of the roof. I take it further and further back, stretch it out. I do that every day. So I have a little routine that I do, and it's a habit that I don't break. And the hot and cold.
Yeah, why that? What does that do?
You know, I don't know. I like being uncomfortable, man. So,
okay.
So
how hot do you make it?
As high as it goes, man.
Like 80 something, 90 something?
90 and whatever it is.
And how cold do you go? As low as it goes?
Low as it goes.
Dang. Do you ever drive with someone and say like, "Hey, Mark, can we just keep it at like 70?" Or
yeah, my daughters, they don't like it at all.
Do they know what happened in the fire? Like, why did the fire start? Does anyone know?
That's what they don't know.
Was it like an electrical thing? Was it?
They haven't come to no conclusion. So
wow.
I guess electrical. My first thoughts were when I realized maybe the oven from cooking in there, but they ruled out the oven and everything. So mystery.
Okay.
Mystery.
You know, those who have been watching you and following you for a long time, you mentioned your daughters. Remember that iconic photo of them coming to greet you after the Fedor fight, right? It's truly one of the most iconic photos in the history of the sport. And they were so young at the time, maybe 6, 7 years old, right? Yeah. And seeing their dad a little bit beat up in the moment, but you're hugging them and consoling them. And so...
It's a life lesson. I got beat down by the public for being a horrible dad and traumatizing my daughters. And at the time, it really affected me. But as time went on, I was more and more glad that they were there every day because they got to see somebody get knocked down, and you get, because life is hard, you get the fuck up and you keep going. And they had the best week of their life. And as you can see, they've been traumatized, but not by that. Everybody's traumatized.
Seeing them come to your hotel bed, I couldn't help but think of that photo.
They were there for me, man.
And
nonstop. They did everything. You know, they got away from work for a week. They were there the whole time, and they're my life. And I have a 9-year-old as well. Those three are. It's all I, you know, and my family, of course, and my family. I care about everybody, but that's all I need is, you know, them 3 daughters of mine, and I want to make them proud. It's, you know, I like making people proud. That's all I ever wanted to do. And I hope they're proud of me today. And you know, I have character defects, but I acknowledge them and I work on them. I work on them every day. And then the same with sobriety. You have to. It works if you work it. You know, because there's millions, and I don't care about the stigma at all. You know, people are worried about the stigma of being an alcoholic. Hell, there's probably more alcoholics out there than non-alcoholics in this world. That's how bad this disease is. And I just want to help people because I'm a black belt in recovery now. I'm proud of that. I went to rehab for 5 months. And for the first month, it was a complete fog. I had been drinking for 12 years, and I remember the first month just coming out of it and looking around all these people there, and I knew I was right where I belonged. And I learned. I didn't pay attention at first because I didn't have the ability to pay attention. In 2 or 3 weeks, just everything just started coming together. And I'm telling the new people in there to keep it down because everybody wants to play and chatter. Keep it down and pay attention. And I learned about this disease, and now I have the ability to stay sober for the rest of my life. I'm going to have to work and help other people, and it's a blessing because I like helping people.
Could I ask what that moment felt like when they came to visit you? We saw it on camera. I don't know if that was the first time they saw you, but there's a video of them coming through the hospital and then going to your bed, and then you start speaking, and then I think one of the nurses says that she needs to suck some of the stuff out of your lungs. But you just seemed so happy, but obviously emotional. What was that like? Do you remember what that feeling was like when you saw them?
Just, it was very close. Like I said, one time in that fire, one time I thought for sure, I went too far this time because I take a lot of risk in life. But, one time in that fire, I thought I went too far and it's just over. But, then it wasn't over. And I'm out and I hear my daughter's there and I couldn't wait to be able to get this thing out of my mouth and get this thing out of my Peter as well, the catheter. Don't like that, but to wake up and have that out and just see my two daughters there who, they mean the world to me. It just never have I had a feeling like that ever of gratefulness and just happiness but then very quick, every emotion that you can think of started to hit me. So it wasn't just happy and grateful. Then it became the mean and the angry settled in there, and just everything, fighting through it. So, but everything's good now.
At what point were you made aware of the outpouring of support that was coming your way? I mean, there was this GoFundMe, but it wasn't just that. It was people writing on your page. It was, I mean, everyone was praying for you. Everyone was pulling for you, from the biggest names in the sport to every single fan. And I'm just wondering, when you were made aware of that, and then what that felt like to see all that love come your way.
Right away.
Yeah.
I mean, within 5 minutes of, everybody realizing I'm going to be okay, my daughters just started telling me what's going on out there in the world, and I was overwhelmed by the love and support that I received. The GoFundMe, just amazed at how people stepped up to help me out in that situation, but to find out how it went, I knew I had some fans, and a lot of good fans, but I just had no clue how many. And I think I've gained new fans because of it. That's fine. You're all welcome. But just knowing how far it went, I couldn't believe, that people cared. And we're making such a big deal to something that was just, something I had to do is all, and turn it into, I'm not comfortable being called a hero,
You are. You're a hero. Your dog is a hero.
Just in the right place at the right time. Happy to be there.
It's amazing to hear you talk about your dog, and I mentioned this while it was going on. I was never a dog person myself, and never got it. And then 5 years ago, we got a dog.
There you go.
And I feel like that's my daughter. It's I get the love, and so when the old me would be like, it's a dog. I don't get it. I get it. I really get it. And
that's fine.
And
the people that's fine. My first dog.
Yeah.
I said the same thing to other people. It's just a dog, just a pet. No.
You had a real bond.
He became by far my best friend, and he had so much person there, just like a little kid, and he figured out the hammer. I let him get away with murder, and I shouldn't have did that at the beginning. I wasn't good at dog trainer, so he got away with whatever he wanted to do pretty much, and then to try to train him after letting him get away with it, it was fun. But he was happy. He was every day for me. He just gave me energy, man. I got up at 4 a.m. and I got to start walking again, man. Like, the first hour was always just like, let's just go back to bed, stop this shit, But and there he would be. He'd be watching me in his favorite spots, and it just gave me energy looking at him. And yeah, unless you have an animal, you have no clue. I loved him as much as I love my daughters, and my daughters loved him as much as they love me. And until you have a pet, you just don't get it. But he was there. He had a great 11 months. He had a real good 11 months. I like to feed him good, and he lived for food just like I did. And you know, he saved my life. He helped save my life. And you know, I got his ashes right in here. His
Oh,
ashes will
wow.
be put in here. I got his ashes at home, but they'll be able to put them in here. And you know, he's just with me still. And like for about a week or for about 3 or 4 days, didn't have that dog, but I still exercised. I wasn't going to miss. I never missed a day. You know, only days I've ever missed, even with the 4 surgeries. I trained before the surgery and I trained after the surgery. I got a lot of shit for it, but I did it. But the only times I've ever missed in the last year and 2 months was the 3 days that they had me locked down in that bed when I was out.
Right.
And as soon as I woke up, it was time to get back on it. But I forgot what the question was here.
No, no, I was just asking about the connection, but I'm curious.
Oh,
Is it safe to assume if Hammer's not in your life, you maybe miss all you don't wake up like that he truly did save your family's life?
boy, he got me through the grueling training sessions.
Yeah,
So
but I mean on this night.
for that reason,
Yeah.
on that night, yes. I mean, something woke me up, a big
Right.
thud, and turned out it was him jumping out of the bed because he smelled the smoke
Wow.
before I did, and then to not have a dog for 3 days after this, it was just horrible. I mean, yeah, I still did the exercises, but it just was like, wow, this is really not as cool at all. And I got me a new
You
dog.
got a new one. Is it the same breed?
Yeah,
Exact
same.
same.
He looks just like the Hammer.
What's his name?
King Martello.
Okay.
Martello's hammer in Portuguese. So
Oh, wow.
he's King Martello, and he looks just
Similar personalities?
very, very similar but different.
Okay.
Yeah, very similar but different. We'll see what he grows into. The Hammer, he liked to change his personality every couple months. We didn't know what we were getting next month, man. But he was just special to me, man. He will always be with me.
Now you have to go through the whole training all over again?
Yeah, but I'm better.
Okay.
I'm better this time. You know, still pooping in the house once in a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's only 10 weeks old, so it's only he's already grown. Dogs are. Hey man, if you deal with mental health issues or any kind of issues, I highly recommend you get a dog, man. They will change your life because they are the best friend.
Right.
And they can't talk back.
How, I know this is obviously a very emotional time, but and you're used to being in the limelight. You're used to being, out there. Your parents obviously aren't. How are they dealing with everything, with their life changing? How's it been for them?
No, my dad don't like the limelight. He's very super shy. I was super shy. That's why I lived in fear. I had shyness. That's why I drank. But I'm over that now. I can look people in the eye here. I can never look anybody in the eye. But my mom's cool. She's a Gemini. She's the Fremont, Ohio, come around and supported her. She's a secretary at the school. She's not anymore, but everybody knows my mom. She does craft work. She does everything for anybody that needs something. They call her up. The football coaches, this and that. But my dad, he's only comfortable in a wrestling arena where he can, call it out as it is. He's getting older and he enjoys. He likes his family and being by himself. But hey, don't stick no microphone in front of my dad. He ain't gonna like that at all.
In the aftermath of all of this, you talked about the sort of nightmares and whatnot. How are they doing?
Well, I've had nightmares my whole life.
Oh, this is okay. It's not a new thing.
It just comes with the territory. I love them because they're nasty. Well, when I wake up,
The nightmares? You love the nightmares?
Yeah.
Why?
Keep me humble. Keep me humble because.
What are they like these days?
People that I thought were all my good friends and this and that. In the nightmare, they turn on me and just one of them I don't have as many friends as I thought I did, so to say. And then a lot of times, maybe getting chased by the cops because I did things to get chased by the cops in the past. So,
like what?
I've broken the law, bro. I broke the law. I'm not going to go into details, but I had drugs on me before. Drugs, this and that. I've sold drugs before. So just that. I don't know what these nightmares come from, but. it doesn't matter. I wake up and they're not true.
Right.
And I'm like
Yeah.
stoked, man. Life is great. I go take my piss and go back to bed, but it's just part of life. It ain't that big a deal.
Is there any sort of PTSD from, when you go to bed, you feel on edge, that you have to check, you have to make sure, you check the oven? Like, do you feel like this is something that is on your mind all the time?
Doing pretty good.
Great.
But there were no fire alarms in my mom and dad's house, and that would have changed the game.
Yeah.
So I do plan on. I got some appearances with the fire departments lined up, and I am going to, go about promoting fire safety and the importance of having alarms. Maybe I would have put the fire out if there were fire alarms.
Right.
But I don't know why there weren't. They just weren't there, and it is what it is. But good things come from a lot of bad things, and a lot of good has come from this.
Like what?
I'm gonna be helping. My family's so close. The closeness I had with my daughters, well, you didn't think I could get any closer to them, but this thing has brought us even way more closer to all my family, and that's important. That's the most important thing, because it's all I really care about. Even my 9-year-old, it brought me a lot. It brought me back to her, because she's moved an hour away, and I hadn't been seeing her as much as I want to at all with this fire. Not because of me, because she was able to not see me, and kids got their own agenda if they're able, but now it's more important to everybody that, yes, you need to see me today. So that in itself is what good came about this.
It definitely felt like you were very grateful for life leading up to this, right? Given your transformation, because I follow you on social media, you're as inspirational as it gets, but now it feels like you've reached this whole other level of gratitude, right? Of appreciate. Even being here, I'm sure you're probably just loving everything even more. And I've seen you at events before, and I've seen you corner people, and I've seen you as a guest fighter, and you always seem to be the happiest person in the room. But now it seems like you've reached this whole other level, because perhaps, there was a part of you that thought you wouldn't get to experience things like this again.
Well, yeah, like you said, I have found peace, and that came with my sobriety. And I have everything I need, and I fear nothing. And life was so good going into this. I appreciate it. I'm grateful, and I have everything I need. Just want to live my life out and keep being the best version of myself I could be. But then, yes, now afterwards, even more so. I mean, I like way more so am I happy and grateful to have what I have, and I have the ability to just make people happy just by responding to them. Instagram's crazy, social media is crazy, but I try my hardest to like people's comments, this and that, because I'm a fanboy too, and sometimes I get messages from a big fan, and I know how it makes me feel. So just to be able to do something like that, and people get back to you, you made my day just by responding to them.
Yeah.
And I got so many people in recovery that I've said DM me, and you got to get back to them, because you can change a life, and that's what it's all about, Ariel.
You mentioned the 4 hip surgeries. Why 4? And 4 in the span of how long?
The last 5 months, brother.
Why?
Shit.
2 and 2?
So I've been doing this training. I have 2 hip replacements.
Okay, already.
7 years ago. You
okay.
know what I mean? So they were doing fine, but then I'm doing this exercise, and I'm putting my body through some crazy stuff. And one day I was stretching real hard, and I overstretched.
Wow.
Because I was getting so flexible, it was unbelievable. I was taking it to new levels. And one time I stretched, and the other leg kind of gave out on me, but I hyperextended the other leg, and my hip just popped out of place during this.
Does that kill, by the way?
What?
Does that hurt?
I knew, because my other hip had gotten septically infected like 5 years ago, and it popped out 6 times before the surgeon realized something was going on in there. So no, there's nothing ever comparable in my life to that kind of pain. You know, nothing even compares to the severity of it. And then, so fast forward 5 years, and all of a sudden, it happens again. And I knew right away what had happened because it's a weird feeling. Something ain't right, and then your legs twisted sideways, and it's out of place. And then the pain just starts growing. And that happened, well, after the first time, you figured I'd back down from the training. But no, I knew if it didn't pop out of place again, that this is a hip I'm stuck with. And I'm not going to be able to do anything I want to do, like this celebrity boxing or anything. So I kept training to see if it's going to pop out again. And sure enough, it did 2 more times. Oh. And then finally, the surgeon going to do hip revision, did a big old hip revision, which is a major surgery, took it out. But they replaced it, and well, I woke up and I was feeling like $1 million right after the surgery. You got all that meds in you, this and that. So I knew going into this that I was going to not miss a beat, and I didn't. And I kept exercising. The legs swelled up, and it was bleeding. But then, about 30 days after the first surgery, I kind of, ripped open the scar. It wasn't healed up all the way. It was bleeding the whole time. For that whole month was by far the hardest month of my life, because I wasn't able to urinate properly. Something was wrong with my urination. So every 15 minutes I had to go, and it'd be like a job trying to get that out. I had to squeeze every muscle in my body, and this happens after surgeries.
Right.
And it was just brutal, but I loved it. I just loved it. I kept, exercising during this whole time. I had to lay down, I had to get up and go pee again. But, and then this thing ripped open about 30 days into it, ripped open a little bit. I had to go back in, and I had created a hematope in there. But if I wouldn't have been doing this, and it wouldn't have ripped open, they wouldn't have went back in, and when they went back in, they found out it was already infected, which I wasn't surprised at all. So if it would have closed up, I might be sitting here today, and that infection can sit in there for a long time, and then you find out it's septically infected. But because they went back in there, surgery number 2, to go back in, clean it out, close it back up, put me on the antibiotics, and everything was going well after the month 2. So I was, recovering. Then about a second month later, I woke up one day and everything just felt wrong, man. It felt wrong. I went back in, and sure enough, they looked at it, turned in there, and they said, we need to do an immediate 3rd surgery because the infection, they weren't able to get rid of the infection with the pills. It was traveling, and they went back in, and they had to clean me out real good. I was on a PICC line they not only had to do the 3rd surgery, they had to do a 4th one 2 days later in a different location. But then I was on a PICC line for 6 months, and
how does it feel now?
I'm close, man. I'm close. It's my hips probably about 80%, getting stronger every day, and everything, man. I get better every day. I just love being healthy, and I'm not fragile, people. Yeah. I got a hip that got infected, man. That's it. But once these babies heal up,
I don't think anyone thinks you're fragile. I don't think anyone would accuse you of something. How many surgeries have you had?
I have a tendency to pay attention to the few people on my Instagram trolls that.
You have trolls? There are people
a lot of them.
Really? What the? I mean, I know it's kind of.
I didn't have too many.
What could you?
Somehow I got away with. I had mostly fans. I didn't have many haters throughout my career. I don't know how I did that, but.
It also wasn't social media when you were in your fighting prime.
But then when I posted this comeback journey, and just got laughed at, this and that, and people.
You read that stuff?
Oh, why not? It's fun. It don't bother me.
Does it get you down?
No, it don't get me down at all. It just motivates the hell out of me. It don't bother me at all.
Do you interact with them?
Huh?
You interact with them?
I interacted so hard that I got kicked off Instagram. I had 100 some thousand followers. And,
you did?
Yeah, because calling people cowards and shit like that, bullying people.
They kicked you off?
I didn't realize that they warned me like 3 or 4 times. You couldn't call people pussy and cowards.
Yes.
And this and that. And I said, come on, kids, get that account back for me. My daughter, she's like, It's too late, Dad, man. It's gone. I go, what?
Uh-huh.
Because I like social media. In between this exercise, I can hold a yoga pose and just, scroll through it. It kills time, man.
Yeah.
It kills time, but I don't take it too seriously. I do love my fans, and I do like motivating people on there, but hey, I have a tendency to give the trolls too much attention.
And you mentioned competing again. What do you mean by that? Like what?
Competing in anything. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I was going to do a celebrity boxing match.
Against who?
Who knows?
Okay, it didn't get to the point where opponents were
Yeah,
being
yeah.
discussed. And how long ago?
Montel Griffin.
Really?
I was going. It was already lined up.
How long ago?
Probably 5 months ago, but then my hip popped out.
Oh my God.
4 months ago, my hip popped out as I'm training. And Montel Griffin, everybody was terrified for my life. But listen, man, it ain't going to be a boxing match. It's going to be 3 1-minute rounds. And I'm way bigger and stronger than this fucking guy. I'm going to be bullying this guy into the corner. I'm not going to stand out there and box this fat son of a bitch. You know what I mean? But
Why do you want to do this?
Huh?
Why do you want to do this? You have nothing left to
Fun.
prove.
I
Just
ain't
for
got
fun.
nothing to prove. It's just fun. Why am I going to do all this training and not do something with it? You know what I mean? I got nothing to prove. Prove to myself, yeah. But that's it. That's it. But I don't know what I'm training for. I want to do something. I'm gonna see how many watermelons I can smash in 1 minute and break the world record. It's about 41 in a minute. I think I can do that. I think I can get more than 41 in a minute.
When you say smash, what do you mean?
41 watermelons lined
Okay.
up. Smash it, crack it. I see somebody do it. Somebody brought it up to me. I said, yeah, I think I can do that. But that or the Barbarian, that's competition, man. I'm going to be on camera in a grueling, the hardest mile of your life. You know what I mean? I'm trying to beat a time, this and that. I'm going to be on my knees a lot. That's competition to me. What else? Hey, I have no clue. I don't say no to just about anything. I don't know how far.
How old are you now?
59.
59.
Yeah.
Almost the exact same age as Mike Tyson, who's competing
Yeah,
this summer. How do you feel about that?
He was growing up, he was the guy that I wanted to be. Mike Tyson had all my fame. You know what I mean? I wanted to be that guy, baddest man on the planet. You know what I mean? Obviously, we're at the same age, so as a kid, I had other heroes. But as I got older, Mike Tyson doing this thing at 18, I'm like, damn, that's what I want to be doing. But Mike Tyson, I don't count him out against Jake Paul. Hey, man, he's going to be scary as hell in the first couple rounds. You still see that man can put together a combo like nobody else. I would love to do a MMA match with Mike Tyson.
Oh, my gosh.
Not no boxing match, bro, but in MMA, I still get his ass easy.
A lot of people are mad about this. You say, let him fight.
Why not, man?
Because of the age difference.
Who cares? Fuck. Who cares? Jesus. It's not a big deal, man.
Well, just because, Jake hits hard. He's a 28-year-old kid or
Who
young man.
cares? I mean, Mike Tyson's been doing this his whole life. He knows what the hell he's getting involved with. He might get hit. He might get knocked down. It won't be the first time. He's doing it again, man. He's getting paid millions of dollars, and he's taking a risk. He believes he can do it. He ain't in there for the money. Mike Tyson believes he's going to knock this kid's head off, and I think he's got a good chance to do it. Is there a guarantee? Hell no. Hey, motherfucker, Jake Paul's got to make it to the ring without pissing his pants, because fighting Mike Tyson, I don't care what age, it's the scariest thing you could ever think about. And he's going to be thinking about it every day. He's got to make it there mentally. Mentally is a big part of this whole game. People can practice all they want, but the fight night is a different story. You walk into that cage fight night, the nerves are different. Can you keep it together? Some can, some can't.
Liver King, your relationship with him. How did you guys even meet? How did you...
Liver King, I was just a fan of his, watching his Instagram, scroll by, like, look at this fucking guy, you know what I mean? And I liked his energy. Of course I liked his build, man. It's pretty neat. It's pretty perfect, this and that, so I'm following him, and I loved his carnivore diet, something I would want to do, because I'm fat. I'm fat and out of shape. Watch this, wanting to do it. I wanted to get back into training forever. I just never pulled the string. I had to have something to motivate me, a reason, you know what I mean? And it was simple as, so I just started befriending him, and one day, I was supposed to go to UFC in Abu Dhabi, and then AJ Dotson, and then I found out he's not He's not put me on the cornerman list unless I pay for the ticket and all this and that. So I'm not going. Fuck that. But I told Liver King's going to be in Abu Dhabi. We're going to meet up over there. And he wired me the cash. And
Wow.
put me on the plane and flew me over there. And I'm like, out of nowhere. I didn't even ask. He said, you're coming. You need to be here. And that's, it's like, whoa, what? All right. And I appreciated that. And then then we talked, and then he just offered me up the job, more or less. Call it a job or call it sponsorship, whatever he wants to call it. I promote the carnivore diet and his supplements, this and that. I believe in them. He's been called a fraud for coming out and testing positive.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I don't give a shit, He said he's sorry. Anybody that hasn't lied or made mistakes, go ahead and say what you want, but most everybody that's calling him a fraud, this and that, because what he's promoting is still wonderful and beautiful life. Healthy, being a better version of yourself. His supplements are the real deal. Yes, he took some steroids. He finally admitted it. I'm good with it. That's it. It's as simple as that. I ain't going to drag it out, but a lot of my fans are disappointed. But that's the way it goes. I ain't judging nobody. I'm in no position to judge a person. He owned up to it. He apologized. What more can he do? Just give up on life? No, he's going to keep doing what he's doing, which is motivate lots and lots of people. And he motivated Mark Coleman, and he's the reason that I started this journey. Wow. He got me started, and I'll never forget that. I'll never forget him sending me that money to get me to Abu Dhabi, and then paying me to basically transform my body back. That was a perfect job. This is what I needed. When I got that message, I'm like, it's over. I will be back. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I knew I was going to be back.
So you're still doing the carnivore diet now?
Yeah, oh yeah, I cheat though.
Okay. So what does that entail? Like, are you eating like he's eating like cow balls and stuff, like crazy shit like that?
That's not a problem at all. That's
like
him.
Raw stuff?
Well, I'll eat raw stuff, no problem.
No problem?
Yeah, I've done it plenty of times. He's got a big chef, you know what I mean? So, I only get to eat twice a day because I fast so much. I'm not going to eat the raw nuts. They don't taste delicious, but I've done it just to see how it is. But his supplements that he sends me, that's food. It's not really supplements, it's food. I take them to get my raw everything. It's in there, and then I cook my food, but I'll do it. I'll do it on Instagram. I'll eat a cow tongue.
Oh gosh, raw.
The truth is, it's not nasty at all, man. It's not. If I had the right seasoning, it'd be very edible, and I'm not going to use the word delicious, but there's no disgust in it at all, really.
I always see you mention the 9 ancestral tenets.
Yeah.
I'm putting you on the spot here, but what are they?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be hard, man.
Okay, like what?
Shit.
What does that even mean?
Eat right.
Okay.
Sleep right. Get cold. Get cold's the big one.
Get cold?
Cold, man. The cold plunges, the cold showers. I do that every day. I was doing it in my session on the early days of this journey. I was getting cold every hour. Go back in and get cold. It just wake me right back up and give me all kinds of energy. Okay. I backed off on that. And of course, get hot, get cold, get hot. Saunas, all that shit. You got to do your hunt in the morning.
What does that mean?
I don't know for sure.
Okay.
I gotta.
Are you going out there?
I'm going out to Liver King's. And love your people.
Yeah.
Getting through these ancestral tenets. Whatever. We got 6 of them. That's pretty good.
That's pretty damn good.
60%. That'd give me a D on a test.
No, more than 60% because there's 9, right? So 6 out of 9 is more like 70%.
I think I got like.
No, it's fine. You got. I think you got 8.5.
We'll skip it for
now.
Yeah. I guess.
So you're gonna go meet up with him.
Yeah. We've been planning that for a long time. Promise I have a little hernia going right now. I've had it for about 5 months. I don't talk about it, but it's getting worse and worse, and it keeps popping through. I got to shove it back in, and that. So I got to get that taken care of. I think it's going to be a quick, easy procedure.
How many surgeries have you had in your life?
Oh, not too many. Just this an ACL knee surgery up until the hips. Only surgery I had in my whole wrestling and fighting career was ACL. Okay. ACL surgery. Then I had Kurt Angle called me up. I had a herniated disc in my neck. And Kurt Angle called me up right in the middle of my fight career. It was almost the end of my career because I kept getting a stinger. Angle had found a doctor. He did this in his WWE
Yep.
career. His name was Dr. Joe.
Yeah.
He's the only doctor in the world that does this surgery. He goes in and he's not even looking at your neck. He's looking at the TV screen, shaving the bulge off. It's very, very dangerous, but there's no recovery time. So I went through about a year with this herniated disc, and it was just horrible. My career, I was only like 35, 36, and my career's about over. It's brought me back to life, man. And
It's like a couple months, right? Like it's nothing. I remember when Angle
oh no,
got
you
it.
wake up, you're fine. You wake up and you're 100%. You got a big scar here.
Yeah.
You got to let that heal up, but there's no recovery time.
Crazy.
The bulge is off. That's all. The only thing was the bulge was sitting on a nerve, man. So take it off the nerve. It's it. You're good to go. And I asked this doctor when I woke up. I said, "My God, man, how come you can't teach other people how to do this?" Like, look, man. He says, "I'm an artist.
Yeah.
I can't give nobody my hands." I'm like, "Wow, man. Thank you."
Yeah.
And then so ACL and that surgery and hemorrhoid surgery, which was fucking brutal.
Oh my.
Oh, that was just
I didn't even know there was such a thing.
You got to get up there and get them cut out, brother.
Oh my God.
Oh man,
How many?
Geez. Yeah, it doesn't matter how many. It's
My God.
When you come back like 2-3 days later, that first shit's gonna be brutal.
Oh, Mark.
Yeah. Woo, that one hurt. But that's it. Boom.
Oh my dear. When was that?
Knee, neck, and
When was the hemorrhoid? Post fighting or in the middle of fighting?
middle.
Middle.
Yeah.
That sounds like a nightmare. Is that the worst
Well,
one?
luckily you're asleep.
Yeah, no, I just mean like the experience of going through it.
Oh yeah, you're on when you got past the first time.
Oof.
3 days later, when you do have to pass, you're in a fucking war.
Oh, my
on
God.
the toilet. You're in a fucking
Sweating.
war, and it feels like a big bowling ball coming out your ass.
Oh my God.
But really, when it finally comes out 5 hours after this
What a
fight,
relief, huh?
just a little relief. But I fell off the toilet. I crawled back up. I looked down in there. Holy shit, man. It was the size of a little razor, man. Just a
Oh,
little
my
baby
God.
turd, but it felt like fucking war, man.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but other than that, then when my career over, I had arthritis in the hips, so I had to get both hips done. But I've only broken one bone in my life. It's the Pete Williams kick. The Pete Williams kick broke this bone right there.
Is that
I'm
orbital?
still pissed off about that Pete Williams fight because you go back and watch that, Ariel. You go back and watch that fight. I don't want to complain, but it's just a fact. Big John McCarthy, there was conspiracy to get rid of the hammer. They did not want the hammer there. And Big John, he allowed Pete Williams to grab onto that fucking cage for literally minutes. I'm trying to take him down for literally, I didn't know this until I watched the film. I just thought this son of a bitch was that hard to take down. And I burnt all my gas trying to take him down. Big John didn't say one word to him. And then later on during that fight, I'm up against the cage. I touch the fucking cage. And Big John yells at me, "Let go of the cage. Let go of the cage, or I'm going to penalize you." You know, I didn't know this during the fight, but after the fight, people pointed it out to me. People watched this fight in detail.
Yeah.
And my good friend, Mike Davis, the undercover cop, I'm pretty sure Big John pulled me off Pete Williams too in this fight. Why? You know what I mean? Why? But let him hold in that cage. I'm irritated. I'm really irritated. It's never been addressed.
Why do you think they wanted you out?
And was kicking to the head actually legal that fight?
that
I'm
point.
not sure.
What is that, UFC 13? Off the top of my head?
14.
14?
So kicking to the head might have been illegal with the shoes on. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That was. And why did Big John McCarthy let this guy hold on to the cage? I pulled him off the cage. He's holding himself up with the cage. Where is the fucking penalty?
Right. But why do you think they wanted you out? You said there was conspiracy.
Wrestling, man. Wrestling. They wanted,
They didn't like the style?
they did.
And you think he was in on that?
I don't know.
That would be the promoters. That would be SCG era, right? So not the Zuffa era.
No, not Zuffa.
That's Bob Meyerowitz.
I don't know who. I don't know.
You get that feeling that they were?
I don't know who was in on it. I just know Big John McCarthy owes me an apology.
Still, all these years
Go
later.
watch that fucking fight. I'm getting mad right now. I don't think about it ever. I'm getting mad right now thinking about it because I about died that fucking night with a kick in the head. It would have never happened. It wouldn't have had to happen if this guy wouldn't have let him hold on the cage.
And that's almost 30 years ago now.
Yeah.
Have you ever talked to John about this?
No.
Have you seen him?
Yeah.
And
Friends, but because I haven't brought up the subject.
have you ever felt compelled to? Or
No.
you'd rather not?
Today I am.
Yeah, right now.
Today.
Why do you think you're talking about it now? Why do you think it's making you so mad
Came
right
out. I mean,
it just came
we're
out, yeah.
talking about whatever.
I know.
comes
It's just,
out.
it feels like it just happened yesterday, based on how upset you are.
Instinctual. I mean, just a spur of the moment guy. You know what I mean? So, but no hate. No.
Why
hate
don't
towards Big John.
you address it with him so maybe you can clear it
I
up?
think he knows. I mean, other people have addressed it. I think he knows. I don't think he wants to talk about it. I'd like to see you go watch the fight and give me your opinion.
Yeah. Well, now knowing
I
this,
respect your opinion.
I've seen the fight, of course. I believe.
Go watch it again. You're
Yeah.
not
Well,
allowed
now.
to go on the cage.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, where was the warning? And I watch it again, and why did I get warned? Like, I just barely touched the fucking cage, and I got the warning right away. No, he was holding onto the cage, nothing. So, and it's probably more than that. If I go watch the fight again, I haven't watched the damn fight forever, ever.
Of course.
If I go watch it again, I'll probably get more and more angry, because I think there was some, I don't think Big John was in love with me at that time.
Really? Wow.
We butted heads in the very first fight.
How so?
Modi Hornstein, he yanked me off very, very hard. You know what I mean? Well, there's no reason to yank me off that hard, especially when I'm getting off. And then, and the second fight was Big Daddy Gary Goodrich. I put the boots in on him, about ready to go finish a rear naked choke. Big Daddy tapped out. Well, Big John came over and gives me a forearm to the chest to knock me off of Big Daddy before I choke him out. Well, big fucking deal. I wasn't smashing him like I could have been.
Right.
He knocks me clean back and damn near blew my fucking knee out. Well, I get up off him, I look at Big John like, what is this? And then the Don Fry fight. Well, why the hell did he pull me off? Why did he pull me off that guy at 11 minutes into the fight and restart the fight on our feet? I was on top of him, beating the hell out of him. They took him over, cleaned his face off, cleaned him up, gave him a break, and they restart the fight on the feet. It don't make any sense, does it? Or does it?
No.
It don't make any sense. These things
I
didn't plan any of this. You just got it out of me here.
Yeah, no, I understand.
You get the shit out of me.
I'd love to see you maybe talk to him about this so that you can move on and not have
I moved on. I mean,
Okay.
You just brought it up today. I don't really care. It's over.
Okay.
That's about, in rehab, you got to let everything go.
Right.
I had resentments forever. You got to let all your resentments go. I have none.
Okay.
I have none. But I can still talk about it.
No, sure. But I could tell you're very upset about it.
Nah, just talking.
Okay.
Just talking. I mean, it is what it is, man. Everything happens for a reason. If none of that happens, if Pete Williams don't knock me out, then they screw me in the Pedro Hizzle fight, I won that fight. You ever see it?
Yes, of course.
Did I win?
Yes.
I win that fight, I get cut. I lost there, I get cut. If that don't happen, I'm not in pride, and I don't beat Igor Vovchanchyn with 16 knees to the head, man, that was the greatest feeling of my life, because I had the whole world call me an old man at 43, or 33.
Yeah. I had, and I'm going to let you go in a moment here, because I know that you have other things to do, but we had Josh Barnett in studio very recently, 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, and he was talking about how he would love for them to go back to the 10-minute rounds and scoring the fight on its whole, like they did in Pride, and how people are gaming the system now with a late takedown here or something like that. Do you feel the same as Josh?
Well, maybe, but not necessarily. But there is a lot of strategy involved in these damn fights. And I use strategy. People think I was just out there a crazy ground and pounder. No, I'm pretty proud of every way I strategically won my fights without knowing how to do it. But nowadays, you just nailed it. Them late takedowns in the round, all that shit adds up. So there is strategy involved, but everybody's camp should be preparing for that. Right. You can't give up a late takedown in the round. So, nah.
10-minute rounds? How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I mean, it's fine with me, but at the same time, I think 5's enough.
Scoring the fight on the whole?
Score the fights up, live, man. Let people know what the score is after each round.
Oh, you like that?
Well,
this is like my biggest thing. Open scoring.
Why
I love
not?
open scoring. There's so
I'm
much
sure
at
there's
stake.
a good reason for it.
Nah, they say, oh, you know, if
Yeah.
you're up, you're going to take your foot off the gas, all that
Well,
BS. Yeah, but everyone else in every other sport knows what the score is. Why should you guys not know? Biggest fight of your life,
change the game.
title fight. You should know where you
all
stand.
these things could help make this sport
Evolution,
even better
right?
than it is. It's evolution, but
They evolved the gloves today.
and we got to fix this judging. It's just it ruined your life. That Pedro Hizzle fight, man. I let it go now, but it bothered me forever. You know, and these fighters, maybe don't have the ability to let things go. Well, it changed the whole life of your career. Just one dude checking the wrong box, man. So you need some people with more education on who the hell won that round.
Right. We're still, I mean, the sport is only still here in America 30 years old. I mean, that's nothing.
Very new.
We're still in the, not quite the leather helmet football days, but like we're in the 60s if this was the NFL, you know, and look at how much has changed. For everyone who supported you, they prayed for you, who had your back, who donated, what would you like to say to these people?
God, I love you all so much. I couldn't believe it. I wish I could give every one of you guys a hug and just meet you and be nice to you, because it changed my life. You know, I woke up and it was traumatic, and I lost a lot. And you know, I'm not rich. You know, I do struggle, but I have everything I need, so I'm not asking for anything. I don't need anything. I didn't know this was set up, but it was. And people wanted to help, and they did. So, thank you. I'm grateful more than you ever imagine. You changed this whole thing. It helped give me energy quickly, because I knew everything was going to be all right anyways. But just made this much more smoother, knowing that people care, and how many people that cared. It touched my heart. And there's a lot of good people in this world, and just hopefully we can keep working on being good people and better people, because there's definitely a lot of bad people out there as well. Yeah. A lot of anger, a lot of hate. It just plays off each other. We got to keep working hard. But thank you, everybody. You're special to me. I have the best fans in the world. I always said that. I didn't know how many there was, but love you all.
Are you getting a lot of love out here? People coming up to you? I'm sure it's maybe even overwhelming to a degree. No, maybe not.
Never,
okay.
Not overwhelming. Reminds me of, when I was actually fighting, but, just people coming up, wanting my picture, wanting my picture more. Once in a while I got that before, but I just, it brought attention to me, I guess. And I'm all about giving somebody a picture and maybe saying a few words with them, and hoping they have a good day.
Yeah. And as far as the technique regarding the belt, how do you feel? Are you practicing?
I want to practice, bro.
Yeah?
I'm fucking nervous, man.
Connor, where you at? Where's Connor? Because this is the belt right here. You know that, right?
Holy shit.
Okay, so we got our guy Connor here, and I was thinking maybe you can wrap the belt just as a practice around his waist. What do you think?
Baby, let's go.
Okay, so here he is. Ooh. And new. Yes.
Turn the fuck around.
Turn. You got to take your shirt off. Is he in the shot? Okay. Oh, there it is. Yes. Look at that. Look at that technique right there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Get over here so I get some camera time.
Oh, yeah. You got to get some camera time. Make sure.
Let's go. Come on.
Is it? How are those buttons? Yeah, sometimes they put the Velcro because it's easier. I mean, Connor, you are getting.
This is a legendary. My man.
Wow. Amazing. Look at that. Yes! The BMF champ. Oh my God. That was incredible. How does it feel? Connor, have a seat real quick. How does that feel? I don't know if you have a microphone on you.
I mean, it feels amazing.
Yes.
BMF champ.
Yeah, that's the belt I would have wanted.
Oh, amazing.
I would have wanted that one right there, but this the guy that made the gloves?
No, he just works for the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you'll make some gloves someday, maybe.
Did you see the gloves, by the way?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But that's evolution, man. We need some new gloves, because poke in the eye can ruin your day.
Right. In a big way. It could ruin the fight, but then it could mess up your eye socket, your retina.
Sky's the limit how much it could do. It could ruin totally, or it could just ruin that evening, or it could just ruin a couple seconds. But You know, it's got to end.
So happy for you, Mark. I'm so. First of all, you're a hero.
Let's bring back the headbutts, though.
Headbutts? You're crazy. Knees to a grounded opponent?
Huh?
Knees?
Yeah, for sure. That changes the whole game. That should be in there because it's part of fighting, man. The headbutts is a little bit too far.
Yes.
But the knees, it changes your defense. It changes how you take a shot. It changes everything, man. So knees to a ground opponent, that's real fighting.
Just let it go. None of this
Without
one hand, two hands.
No,
none of that.
Well, no. I mean, yeah. I mean,
like if you're down,
they're going to keep it because it's violent.
Yeah.
That's why I loved it.
Soccer kick?
Yes, why not, man? You got to be quick. If you're on the ground and the guy's standing up, you better be right here.
Right.
It changes the defense, man. So it's fighting. Without that, it's close to fighting.
Right, right. And are you still training with Matt Brown?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
Does he have a fight coming up?
Nothing scheduled yet, but he's 43 and he's still going strong, man.
Incredible.
Yeah, I excited. I love being in that corner. I love being in the gym, and I'm getting close to being able to spar with that guy. I can't wait to spar with that son of a bitch.
I love it. Well, I'm so happy for you.
Grab him and throw him to the ground, though.
Yeah, I bet. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah,
so happy that
I'm happy for you, man. You weathered your storm.
Yeah.
And now you're the man.
Look at us. Look at us.
Baby.
You and me.
Hell
By the way,
yeah.
beautiful shoes. By the way.
Yeah, my daughters picked these out.
Amazing.
Man.
Louis Vuitton.
I was in there with my daughters getting their Louis Vuitton, and the next thing you know,
this is since the accident?
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel bad, but I don't feel
Why?
bad.
You look fantastic.
Yeah, I know, but they feel good. And
are they here as well?
I can't believe I got a pair of Louis Vuitton.
No, you look great. I didn't know you had this kind of game, Mark.
No, I got shoe game. When you check into rehab,
yeah,
a lot of people in rehab they turn to shoe game. You know what I mean? So I was in there wearing my old. You know, I only have one pair of sneaks for the year.
Right.
And then I got some shoes now.
Are your daughters here, by the way?
Oh, hell yeah.
They're here.
They got a big surprise coming. You watch here. You'll see a big surprise. You're going to see my daughters.
On Saturday?
You'll see them.
Wow.
Yeah, you'll see
I love
them.
it.
They are so excited. They come to a lot of fights. They're big fans.
Oh, are they?
Oh,
okay.
yeah. We go to B-Dubs all the time, watch them at B-Dub Wings.
Yeah,
I ask tickets from Dana. That's what I do for fun. You know, about 3-4 times a year, I come to the fights, man.
Right.
You know, that's my fun. And I bring my daughters, and
did they ever consider fighting?
Well, yeah, but
they did.
Yeah, of course. I thought about it, but unfortunately, when they were little kids, I was just starting. You didn't see no vision. Women's wrestling was not a thing.
Right.
And women's fighting was not a thing. So my daughter was a national champion, level 10 gymnast. My oldest daughter, then my middle daughter, she was an all-star shortstop and an all-star basketball player. So they played their sports. They could have been great. My oldest daughter is a clone of me physically. Her hands are almost as big as mine, and she is a monster, national champion gymnast. Ooh, I could see her and Amanda Nunez going at it, baby. That would have been sick. But I'm glad it's not reality, man, because I don't know if I could take it.
Yeah, no. We don't need that.
I don't know if I could take that. But they were little studs.
Enjoy the weekend.
I have a 9-year-old that.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, she's special.
What's her name?
Skylar Constance Coleman, Mackenzie Marie Coleman.
Maybe she could be the fighter.
Well, yeah, we're getting in. Hopefully, I'm going to get her in wrestling real soon here, and we'll see where it goes. It's up to them, but I definitely want her in wrestling because wrestling. Look how big it is now, Ariel.
Yeah.
Can you believe how fucking big it is? And it just immediately turns a man that walks around like this. You know, within a couple of weeks of wrestling, you're standing tall.
I feel like my posture, I need some more.
Confidence is life, you know, and wrestling, it gives these kids confidence, and that's why I love it so much. Turns you into a man or a woman.
Again, well done. I'm so happy that your family's okay, that you are okay. I'm very sorry about your dog, but I'm happy you have a new dog in your life. Can't replace, obviously, but it's great that you have that companionship. And I hope that you enjoy everything that this weekend brings to you. And I can't wait to see you in there on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a pick? Like, is that allowed? I don't know.
Am I gonna pick? I can't.
You can't do it.
I just don't want. I'll pick right before the fight.
Yeah.
I maybe have somebody in mind here, but it goes back and forth because this is so close.
What about who you would like to win? Like who you'd like to?
Well,
I guess Max kind of started this, right?
Yeah, when Max came out and said that,
Yeah.
you know, I'm like, I've rolled on the bus with Max a few times, so I've got to know him right. I met Justin once or twice, nothing against him, but
Yeah.
so if I had to pick him,
That makes
of
sense.
course, and if you talk about the people's favorite, it's Max.
Holloway, yeah, blessed.
Dustin Gaethje's right there too, but Max Holloway is blessed, and I just seen him in the elevator coming over here, so.
Oh.
Yeah, I looked over there, he was. I'm like, oh, I gave him a big hug, and I'm excited about that one. And this is Max's big title fight here, I think. And
It's great. I'm so happy they did it. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate it. Mike, thank you. The great Mike DeSabato, he made it all happen. And enjoy everything. Enjoy
all right,
everything
brother,
that comes.
I will. I
Yeah.
am. I'm enjoying everything in life. I have been for a long time, but it just keeps getting better and better. Sobriety gets easier and easier. They say that in rehab. If you're struggling, get help today. You can't do it alone. Sober is cool, but you can't do it alone. Get help and fucking enjoy and live life, man, without the booze. You can do anything sober. You can anything you can do drinking, you can do it better sober.
How many years now?
3 years, bro.
3 years.
3 years and about a month.
Amazing. Well done, Mark.
All right.
Well done. There he is, the great Mark
you.
Coleman, the Hall of Famer. Dude, Mike. Yeah, we'll do a picture. We're still live, but we'll do a picture. Who cares? And I think Israel Adesanya is going to join us any moment now. Is he here? Yeah. Oh, that would be great for you to see. Where do we? Here we go. Here's me and Mark.
Excellent.
I was hoping that because I know Izzy. Is he down the hall, literally?
Yeah, I'm watching him come up. Yeah.
Okay. You know who Izzy is?
No.
Israel Adesanya?
Fuck yeah, I know
okay.
Izzy, man.
Have
I
you
know
ever-
everybody.
Have you ever met him?
Yeah, we met. He's always showed me nothing but respect. I went up to him, asked him for a picture once. He was sitting down. He looked up. He's like, oh, he got right up for me. He called me the champ. You know,
Respect's the
so
legend.
it's respect, man. It's all respect in this business. That's the beauty of this sport.
Yes. Well,
Can't help but respect somebody.
There he is, the middleweight king. He's coming in, and you can come say hello to him as I introduce him. And thank you again, Mark. Really appreciate
All right.
it.
All
You're
right,
the
Ariel.
freaking man.
Love
I'm
you,
so
buddy.
happy for you.
Love you.
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
No, hell no, brother. First of all,
Can you
What's
just
up,
give so
buddy?
people can experience this as well?
Yeah.
how you feeling?
Oh, man.
Man, 9
Shit.
tenants. Hammer house.
4-9. Sit right
Who's
here.
in?
Here.
You already know.
1, 2, 3, hammer slide. 1, 2, 3. Hammer for fucking life!
Who's in?
Bitches!
Let's go. God bless you, man. Good
God
to see
bless
you,
you,
brother.
man.
You're the man.
Love you,
Appreciate
man.
Love you too,
I
man.
can't wait for your next fight. I
Keep
love
watching.
it.
Stay tuned,
I
brother.
can't wait for the entrance even.
Stay tuned.
Of course, I
What
will.
a legend this guy.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm
A
saying.
superhero.
The man, the actual
I know.
man. When I heard what happened, I was like, bro. And then seeing what you did, and rest in peace, the king, bro. Beautiful man, man.
Thank you, man.
Respect to you,
Blessed.
brother. Always.
I think
We're all
Mike- I think
blessed.
Mike
We're
wants to
blessed,
take a-
brother.
Okay.
All right.
Quick one. Ready?
We're still live.
Yeah, are we live?
All right.
Awesome. Bless
Thank you, Mark.
man.
All the
All
best.
right. Have a good day.
You too, brother.
See you around. See you, Ariel.
Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You can get many more of these videos on the channel, so please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.